So here we are. I'm Gweedore, County Donegal, and at this point, I feel like everyone keeps
So
asking.
people keep saying to me, you must be nearly finished. But I still have the whole of the west coast ready to do, so a lot more paddling.
Yes, so it feels like I've been paddling for a long time. I have been paddling for a long time. It's just I've been paddling around rather than starting and doing starting and stopping on as and continuously. I have been doing a bit and then going back to work and life and then going back out and doing a bit more whenever the conditions and weather are right. So it's been slow because I've been working around my job and my family and everything like that. So it's been really slow going, and I feel like I'd love to have it all done at this point. Just starting to get that sense of like, oh, I just need to get this done. So here we are on the road again, driving through Donegal. So literally, this is like the wild Atlantic way is really what's left to do. And this is during the winter months. So you can see here the mountains are all snowy and white. And that's Irish scenery driving through West Donegal. So here we go. It's cold. It's cold, it's wintry. It's actually coming up to New Year's Eve because I usually try to get away around New Year's as well after doing all the Christmas family stuff. It's nice to get away and get some paddleboarding done. So I've got a couple of boards there in the car. We've stopped taking the scenes. As I said, it is stunning. And there's the lake, and there we are. And there's Jack in there. He's doing very well with all these driving trips. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Uh, and this is the route. That's the lake that we're going past. So very scenic until we get to this part now, which is I've never been to this part, so this is all quite interesting for me. It's Gweedore, West Donegal. And this is what it looked like when we arrived. Actually, the first day was probably the best day condition-wise, because unfortunately, straight after that, it was storm after storm the whole trip, unfortunately. But that's where we were staying. You could see down through the islands. We were staying up around here, and you could see down through those islands. And this is really the direction that I wanted to. Well, this was my, plan A, what I would really like to get covered on this trip. This is Ironmore Island down here. Um, yeah, this is what the beaches are like. A really stunning Dunbeg beach. Exploring, like walking, and you can see the snow on the mountains. It's Errigal, and this is out for a walk. So this is kind of that's where the Binbeg. This is where the beach was that we were just at. Here it is, and you can see the islands, but you can also see it's very tidal. You can see the sandbanks here. So that's one thing to be really cautious of in this area is dealing with the sand, the tide, because it can look very different a few hours later when the tide goes out, which I discovered quite a few times. Thankfully, I didn't get into any bother, but I could see how that could be a problem. Kincastle, this is kind of a famous area as well as Danny O'Donnell's from this area too. A lot of famous singers, Anya and Clannad. And this, we just ended up driving onto this island, Cruit Island, and Richard was just really curious because it showed a golf course at the end of it. So we were driving along. Now these wee windy roads, there's only really room for one car. So, but we got right down to the end, and I was like, wow. As well as the golf course, there is a pier, and I'm just all about piers because it's the perfect way for me to get in and get out without getting wet, especially when it's this time of the year and it's freezing cold. So the golf course, just as luck would have it, Jack just got his first set of clubs at Christmas. This is New Year, and we are just he's just trying them out. There he is. So, and now you can see the islands behind, Cruit Island, and this is the piers. I was so pleased. And this is me telling everybody.
So people keep saying to me, you must be nearly finished. But I still have the whole of the west coast ready to do, so a lot more paddling to go to do the whole of Ireland, which is the aim. But anyway, this weekend is New Year's and I'm hoping to go out. There's snow in the mountains, but I'm going to try and get around the islands. So I'm in Gweedore Bay, which is beautiful, lots of little islands.
Yes, so this is December 2023, about to come in, move into 2024. And this is the pier. Anyway, didn't get out that day because it was too windy. So finally, I was scouring the weather. There has to be a little break between the storms. And I saw a tiny break between the storms. And I thought, right, I'm going to get really early and get this done. So it was, so this is where I'd finished last time, Falcara, and there happens to be a little pier here. So I was going to jump on in the pier here and paddle around here. This is called Bloody Foreland, which is pretty much where we were staying on the side of that. And then I was going to go down through these islands and just as far as I could. If I could get down to Cruit Island at the bottom there, that would be 16 miles. It's quite doable. And I would be very happy. Um, but that morning I got up and it was still dark because it's that time of the year. And I called the Coast Guard because they do want you to call them until you're ready to go. So I called them, I'm ready to go. I want to do this today. And they looked at it and they were like, to be honest, it's a small craft warning all around the island of Ireland. It's, there's wind swirling the whole way around and, so they weren't happy with me going out. And I knew the Coast Guards now because I've spoken to them quite a few times. And obviously I want to stay safe and I don't want to not go out if they're not happy with it. So anyway, I just went and laid back down in bed thinking, oh, that's it. Not going to get out this trip. But um I looked at my phone again about an hour later and actually I got a lovely message that they'd analysed my area specifically and they did see that there was a slight window and there was a slight lull and they thought I could give it a try. So I was like so happy, but I was an hour out already. So this was a very small window and I knew I was already leaving it a little late. But I was not going to give up. I was going to give it a go. So here I am down here. This is Falcara Beach over here. And this is the little pier that I just heading out from. There's a wee island. There's a ferry that goes back and forth to this island here. That's the ferry coming in. Always good to avoid the ferry. And this is me going around Bloody Foreland now. It did look nice leaving, but like as you can see here, oh my gosh, it's starting to really pick up. And it was really hard going round and the waves got bigger and bigger. So this is probably the last photograph I took because it was starting to get too hairy for me to even stop to take a photo or take out my phone or anything like that. I was just literally trying to stay on. I didn't want to fall in. It's freezing cold and it took me ages to get round Bloody Foreland. Ages, hours. Felt like I was never going to get there. And then once I did get around Bloody Foreland, um, then I hit massive swell. There must just be like some sandbank ridges. And it was literally me trying to get around these big waves. And I have to say, once I got into the island, this is me finally coming to the island or taking my phone out. It was a huge relief. And I was absolutely exhausted after all of that. So I saw this little slipway and I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna have to get in here. I'm done. I'm really done. So I didn't get very far. I literally just got into the islands. That's me coming in, sweating, and I've got my woolly hat and everything on because it's freezing cold. It's New Year's. And that's the little route. So I started using this RYA tracker, which is very handy. And you have to put it on when there's Wi-Fi. So I'd put it on the house and you can see it's just literally been tracking me as I drove around to the wee pier and then I paddled around from here around to here and pulled in there. So it wasn't very far. It was a fraction of what I want to do, but at least I got a bit further. That shows you 31st of December. So I got in and I managed to get a little bit done, but that's the paddleboard and that's the island, the pier. So called the Coast Guard this morning because I could see a little window of opportunity and I got the thumbs up, so I paddled around Bloody Foreland, which took me longer than I expected and was very hard going because it was strong northwesterly winds. Anyway, so it's beautiful, all these lovely little islands. Which are a lot more sheltered, but after 4 hours I had enough, so I've just come in here. I saw a paddle past this little pier and I thought, well, it's a perfect opportunity for getting out. So anyway, 4 hours, didn't get quite as far as I wanted to, but at least I managed to get out. I got Bloody Foreland finished, which was great, but I'd like to try and do a bit more between the islands if I get a chance on this trip. But anyway, Happy New Year! It's New Year's Day. Anyway, so yep, that was it. That was it. That just shows you there, like it was only 6 miles. It took me 4 hours to do that. So sometimes you just don't know what you're gonna get. And that was me, sorry, that's me setting off in the morning after Richard dropped me in and Jack. There's a few photos of me setting off. So this is me back looking around. I was really hoping to get and do some more paddleboarding around the islands. I thought um, that will be more sheltered. But look, you can see again, it's just sandbanks everywhere. You'd have to be very careful going around the islands that you don't all of a sudden it doesn't just drain and you're left in the middle here somewhere. So I couldn't find, I drove round and round, couldn't find anywhere. This is around Kincastle again, and then this is coming up to this. Discovered this beach, which is a good one. Although there's quite a bit of swell there, but there's other wee entrance points here on the side, and I thought, well, this would be good. This is Cruit Island down here, and to the other side that would take me back up through the islands, and this part is the sea, so it's not the inland. I thought the inland after all that is not such a good idea, but hi. So today's a bit of a wipe out because well, it's quite windy, so I was trying to paddle inland, but it's very tidal here, and whenever the tide's out, it's just long beaches of a lot of sand. I mean, it is stunning. I finally got a beach, found this beach here, which is close to the sea, opens out into the sea. Everywhere else I was looking that was more sheltered. I thought inland was just quite marshy, and I was worried I might get stuck in the mud, but or the sandbanks. But this looks good, so I think I'm going to try this tomorrow morning. Just get up early. It's the last day. And that's Cruit Island, which is where I wanted to finish off yesterday. And if I go out here and paddle on round, it takes me back towards Goa where the ferry was. So I'm going to try and cover a bit of that distance in the morning. Wish me luck. And that's the beach there. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. The next morning, it was still blowing a gale and just wasn't going to be doable. So that's us. Trip over. At least I got a tiny bit done. Some of the photos from the trip, that was from me out in the water. That's Bloody Foreland, going around Bloody Foreland. And we stopped off on the way home to see my friend Tara. And that was lovely because got some coffee with her and a little break before hitting the road. And yeah. So this is me back again. And this is just about a month or so later. This is like February. I try to get out in February because it's my birthday and it's half term, and it's usually a good opportunity to ask to get some paddleboarding done, although it's the shortest days and the coldest probably time of the year. But look how beautiful it is. Here we are on the road again. In fact, I think it's probably just me. I just thought this time rather than it's a lot of driving for Jack, and I think I just came by myself for this trip. I just wanted to um, launch from where I was last time and make my way down round these islands down towards Quitch. I kind of figured I could paddle out and then paddle back and then drive round a bit more, drive for here and paddle back from Quitch, and can cover it that way. So that was the plan. And here I am and back at that wee pier again. There's, yeah. That's me all loaded up, woolly hat and all ready to go.
Good morning. So it's 10th of February 2024 and I am at Gula. This is where the ferry goes. Back in Gweedore. This is where the ferry runs to Gula Island, which is out here. So I didn't get this far last time. I got as far as the islands. But so I've come down today, especially just to try and make my way right round the islands. The furthest one being Cruit Island. So I'm aiming there. There's a lovely, there's the distillery there and a golf club. Lots of golf clubs here actually. It's very beautiful. I have to say, the islands here are stunning. Anyway, wish me luck. All proceeds going to RNLI. Bye.
It's a bit windier than I thought when I got there, but that's me taking off there from the island. It's slow going, that's why it's taken me so long. Getting to see the Irish coastline, Gweedore, definitely worth another trip. Oh, very beautiful, blue sky, got my knee pads on for kneeling and my walkie-talkies and everything. Woolly hat, backpack with snacks. I usually just take it off and put that on the board and keep that on there because it does bumps on my arms. So for long distance paddleboarding, you're trying not to get too many sores. So it's me paddling along, lovely day, sun out. There's little markers between the islands, so you know what side. I guess that's just so you don't get stuck in the sand. And this is the scenery, lots of little beaches. And that's where I have got to now. So you can see I'm sort of making my way down between the islands. It's actually, you look at the map and then when you're out there, it's so hard to know because all you see is land and it's hard to know, is that island? Like, is that an island or is that part of the land? It can be a bit confusing. And that's me just paddling. And that's me coming out at a little beach. I was paddling past here and stopped to take a picture because a friend of mine, Shen, who lives in the States now, but he's from this area. So he was like, oh, look out for Leo's. There is Leo's Tavern. Enya and Clonad would have played there. It's a very musical area. As I said, Daniel O'Donnell's from the area too. And there's also the most scenic airport in the world, in Donegal, which is right here, a bit blurry there. So I'm paddling past that as well. And I'm trying to get to Mulderg Beach. There it is again, been back here, getting to know. There's a lot of driving around so that you do start to get familiar with the places. It's not like you just go drop your paddleboard in and off you go and paddle it. There's a lot of driving up and down, getting familiar with the whole area.
Hi there. I'm at Mulderg Beach. See behind me, beautiful beach. Looks like a nice surf spot. There's some surfers here. And I'm going to take the board and paddle out back round to Carrickfinn, which is where the airport is. It's supposed to be one of the most beautiful airports, well, certainly in Ireland. And then out to Cruit Island. There's a whiskey distillery over there. It's famous for that, and also a famous, beautiful golf course there. The home of Daniel O'Donnell is like right around here too. So anyway, wish me luck. Nice day today, calm, blue skies. It's February 10th. Looking forward to making a bit more progress. Thanks, please spot to me. All proceeds going to the RNLI. Bye.
Here we go, heading off at Mulderg Beach, and it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful little spot there.
So I found a nice little calm place to get in the sea here today at Mulderg, and I'm hoping to paddle out round the islands, Cruit Island. I have to paddle back a little bit towards where Donegal Airport is in Carrickfinn, but it's beautiful, lots of beautiful islands this gorgeous area, Gweedore.
West Donegal Islands. So that's me. Paddling between the islands. You see, it's hard to know what's land and what's not. This is Carrickfinn over here though, because I think I have a picture of the plane, a plane coming in, and this is Cruit Island here. Different markers and things like that. It was very picturesque. And that's what the sea looks like. That's neat. So that was that trip. And pretty much joined the dots there and got down to Cruit Island. So I was pleased with that. That was me heading off again. And just beautiful scenery. That's Cruit Island Distillery. And here I am actually back again. And this is later now in December. I found another, or February 2024.
Hi there, so here I am. This is Cruit Island. There's a golf course behind me. All the golfers are out. It's Sunday morning, it's the end of February. I can't believe it's taken me this long to get here. I'd hoped to have done this part on New Year's. I was here last and it just took me ages. Anyway, it was storm after storm, so here we are. This is the target over here. Right behind me is Arranmore Island. So I want to get round the inside of Arranmore today, round to Burtonport. Anyway, wish me luck. All proceeds going to the RNLI. Thank you. Bye.
So you can see how familiar you get with these areas as you're back and forwards, especially when the weather's not that good. That's me paddling out. Cruit Island. A lot of people live on there, and it's lovely, I have to say. That's me driving off Cruit Island. Gorgeous. And yeah, I got around to Arranmore from, this is Cruit down here. So I paddled out round here, and then I was driving down here because I'm by myself now, and I'm going to be paddling back up and paddling back down. So it's a bit slower because it's just me, but it's actually kind of nice change because it's not so many hours paddling. So it's shorter on the hours on the arms, a bit more driving though. So this is the tidal times. You can see it's like 9 o'clock basically, sunrise, sunsets at 4. So you've got that's only window. High tide's at 8:30, so that's quite good. Heading off at high tide. RNLI, and this is Burtonport. See how lovely it is. And there's the ferry heading off. That's the island just literally across there. It's quite short. This is me paddling round. You can see the lighthouse. That's the ferry. It's very still and quiet. I think the ferry runs all year round. This is February, like I said. This was actually a really lovely paddle because between the islands it was just flat as. Now you can see as you come out, this is Arranmore, out round the island here, you can see closer to the island, you can see a lot of choppiness and waves, but I was hugging the coast here on this side, again, because it's just me. I'm staying in close, so I can't really cut any corners. You know, from cutting corners would be, skipping, from cutting across from headland to headland. I have to really cut in around the coast because it's just me. And this is the house. This is Burtonport.
Hi there. Here I am. I'm just coming in from paddling. Arranmore Island is over there, and this is Burtonport. And the Arranmore ferry leaves from here and heads across here. So there's lots of little scattered islands, which was lovely to paddle around today because it was nice and sheltered because there was a bit of swell out in the sea. So it's quite nice. So yeah, so getting a bit further each time. So anyway, please sponsor me. All proceeds going to RNLI. Thank you. Bye.
And that's me. And that's a picture of the island. It'd be nice to go to the island sometime. Oh yes, it's Mother's Day. I think that's why I got in again. Maybe I've come back again for Mother's Day. I think that's what it is. It's been very slow getting around Donegal, let me tell you that. This is like months and I've only chipped away bits and bits, little bits. So we're back at Burtonport. Now heading round this direction down towards, it's called Mulgary and Portneuf is probably the more famous area of this part of Donegal, which will be then me leading to Portneuf is not that far then from Killybegs and then Sligo. So this is sort of like the last part of Donegal that I need to do. So all the little pictures of the houses on the islands and all the markers around the coast here, coming out away from Burtonport. This is where I am now in the middle of the sea, heading down, like you can see Portneuf down here. So this is a nice big strand, which I've paddled before. I've actually paddled around here a bit before, but I'm heading down now as far as I can down this way, and then I'm going to paddle back across from Portneuf. That's Ironmore, the back of it. McGeary is where it's sort of heading towards. And there I am back in the sea. And the other side, that's Portneuf, paddling back towards McGeary. So this is the Portneuf Harbour. Things to see. I don't usually like seeing all that things to see that I'm paddling over the top of, especially when I'm by myself. And this is the lovely big long beach in front. And it's the harbour. And again, I'm kind of familiar with this area because I have done this before, but it's also a bit choppier than I was expecting. This is up towards McGeary here. And a bit foggy, which I didn't really like too much. I've had problems in the fog before, so it makes me a bit nervous. Anyway, and this is coming back into Portneuf. So that was that side done. And then round to Rossbeg. So I finished at Rossbeg. So I drove around Rossbeg and had to paddle back round to Portneuf. Again, that was quite a bit of fog and stuff, looming fog, but beautiful beach at Rossbeg. And there's the cows. Literally, this was around Mother's Day. I think they just had calves. It just looked like these calves just suddenly arrived. You can see the little calves and they're gorgeous, beautiful cows. Beach is stunning. What a beautiful part of the world. That's Rossbeg. Now you can see in the distance here, this is the stacks. So I remember that this is going to be the next part then. So I've finally got round to Rossbeg, and the next bit that will be the stacks, which then takes me round to Killybegs. So very nearly finishing Donegal. You can see the stacks again in distance. That will be the next bit. So that was me all done. That was paddling back to Portneuf. There. So that has taken me months to do West Donegal. Literally started at New Year's, didn't get very much done, went back, did a couple of days in February, got a bit further, back in March, got a bit further, but still just so slow. But thankfully, in the winter months, I picked these Donegal. It's not a massively long drive compared to other parts of Ireland, so I can drive there and back. So it's all been doable. So still not done yet. No, battling storms around West Donegal. Anyway, we'll get there.